What if I told you that one man was present at both atomic bomb explosions in history, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and walked away from both of them alive? Not a soldier, not a scientist, just an ordinary man who kept finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe the right place. His name was Tsutomu Yamaguchi, and the story of how he survived the unsurvivable is one of the most extraordinary things you will ever hear. Welcome back to Epic Stories, where history isn't just taught, it's felt. If you're new here, you've landed in the right place. We tell the stories that textbooks skip, the ones that make you question everything you thought you knew about the past. Make sure you stick around, because this one is going to stay with you. August 1945. The Second World War is in its final, brutal chapter. Japan is exhausted. Its cities are burning. Its people are starving. And somewhere in the heart of the Japanese Empire, a 29-year-old naval engineer named Tsutomu Yamaguchi is wrapping up a 3-month work trip in a city called Hiroshima. He is ready to go home. He misses his wife. He misses his infant son. He just wants to get back to Nagasaki, where his family is waiting for him. He had no idea that in less than 24 hours, the world was about to change forever, and that he would be standing right in the middle of it. The morning of August 6, 1945 started like any other morning. Tsutomu gathered his things, said his goodbyes, and made his way toward the train station. It was early. The air was warm. The city of Hiroshima was just waking up. And then he realized he had forgotten his travel pass. Such a small thing. Such an ordinary mistake. He turned back to retrieve it. That small delay, those few extra minutes, put him outside, in the open, when the sky turned white. At 8:15 in the morning, the United States dropped a bomb called Little Boy over Hiroshima. It detonated roughly 600 meters above the ground. The explosion released energy equivalent to 15,000 tons of TNT. Temperatures near the blast reached several thousand degrees. Everything within 2 kilometers of the hypocenter was almost instantly destroyed. Tsutomu was standing approximately 3 kilometers away when it happened. He saw a flash, a blinding, impossible flash of light, and then the pressure wave hit him like a wall. It threw him into the air, slammed him into the ground, and left him lying there, ears ringing, skin burned, nearly unconscious in the middle of what used to be a city. He survived. Barely. His eardrums were ruptured. His arms were burned so severely that the skin had peeled away. He was temporarily blinded. But he was breathing. He was alive. And somehow, through the smoke and the ash and the silence that followed the most deafening sound he had ever heard, he found the strength to move. He spent that night in an air raid shelter with other survivors, in pain unlike anything he had ever known. The city around him was unrecognizable. Tens of thousands of people were already dead. Tens of thousands more were dying. The devastation was total. But what happened next changed everything. The following day, Tsutomu made a decision that sounds almost unbelievable. Despite his injuries, despite the chaos surrounding him, he got on a train and went home to Nagasaki. Think about that for a moment. This man had just survived one of the most destructive events in human history. His body was burned and broken, and he chose to travel across Japan to be with his family. That is the kind of love that history rarely records but never forgets. He arrived in Nagasaki on August 8th. He went to the hospital to have his wounds treated. He reported to his workplace the very next morning because that was the kind of man he was. Disciplined, committed, determined to keep moving forward no matter what. And on the morning of August 9th, 1945, he was sitting in his office telling his supervisor what he had witnessed in Hiroshima, describing the blinding flash, the wall of heat, the city disappearing in an instant. His supervisor didn't believe him. He told Tsutomu that one bomb could not possibly destroy an entire city, that it was impossible. Before we go any further, if this story is hitting you the way it's hitting me just telling it, go ahead and drop a like on this video. It genuinely helps more people find stories like this one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time. We put out new historical stories every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. All right, back to Tsutomu. And at that exact moment, as Tsutomu was trying to explain what he had seen, the sky outside turned white again. The United States had dropped a second bomb. This one was called Fat Man. It detonated over Nagasaki at 11:02 in the morning. Tsutomu was less than 3 kilometers from the hypocenter, almost the exact same distance he had been standing in Hiroshima just 3 days earlier. The blast blew out the windows. The shock wave tore through the building, and Tsutomu Yamaguchi was thrown to the ground for the second time in 72 hours. He survived again. How? Partly luck, partly the geography of Nagasaki itself. The hills surrounding the city actually contained the blast in ways that Hiroshima's flat terrain could not, and partly because his body, already burned and battered, may have offered him some strange, terrible resistance to the radiation he had already absorbed days before. But make no mistake, what Tsutomu lived through was not survivable by any reasonable measure. The odds against any one person being within lethal range of both bombs and walking away from both are almost impossible to calculate. In the weeks that followed, Tsutomu struggled. His hair fell out. He lost weight rapidly. He battled the internal effects of radiation exposure that neither bomb had killed him quickly enough to spare him from. Doctors were astonished he was still breathing. But he kept going. He went on to live a full life. He married. He raised children. He worked. He grew old. He became an anti-nuclear activist, speaking publicly about what he had witnessed and dedicating the later years of his life to making sure the world never forgot what those two bombs had done to real human beings. In 2009, the Japanese government officially recognized Tsutomu Yamaguchi as a Niju Hibakusha, a double bomb survivor. He was the only person in history to receive that formal recognition. He passed away on January 4, 2010, at the age of 93. Not from the bombs, not from the radiation, from stomach cancer. Yes, but he had lived for 65 more years after those two mornings that should have taken everything from him. 65 more years. There is something that stays with you about Tsutomu's story. It isn't just the survival. It's the forgotten travel pass. The train ride home. The moment his supervisor called him a liar seconds before the second bomb proved him right. History is full of grand, sweeping forces, empires, weapons, wars. But sometimes it all comes down to one man forgetting something on his way out the door. Tsutomu Yamaguchi did not survive history. He lived inside it, and he carried it with him every single day for the rest of his life. If this story moved you, share it with someone who loves history. Drop a comment below telling me what part of this hit you hardest. I genuinely read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed to Epoch Stories yet, now is the time. Every week, we bring you stories like this, the ones that remind you that history isn't just dates and names. It's people, real people, making impossible choices, surviving impossible odds. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and never stop looking deeper.